What do you get when you combine a dev team that listens to the fans, respects them, and makes good on all their promises? You get Blizzard. With their revolutionary game Overwatch with its gameplay, all the heroes available at launch, and of course, its source filmmaker videos. You might be confused about this statement, wondering if I have the wrong game. The answer is, you didn't realize I left out the 2 from Overwatch. Because this was Blizzard back in 2016, who still cared about their player base. A time before Overwatch 2 was review bombed on Steam and mountains of loot boxes were given out for free that made it simple to get skins without paying a single cent. But those glory days are now over. Because the games had a change in management, a few too many hungry and sad babies, and a 2 slapped on its fat behind and called Overwatch 2. We all miss you, Jeff. Please come back. Wait, never mind. Don't go back to Blizzard. Tis a silly place. A now free-to-play game that basically looks like any other gacha game out there with its battle passes, limited heroes behind the battle pass for every season, and paid skins, which completely replaces Overwatch 1 that the entire old fanbase paid a minimum of $19.99 for. And you can't even play the game you paid for anymore, because this sad excuse of a sequel is all you get. But in all this doom and gloom, the important part of the franchise remains the same, which is most definitely the SFM community, where the devs actually put in time, precious time that could have been put into PVE to create encryption methods to stop the fans from obtaining the Overwatch 2 models, and failed miserably on day 1. Great work, Blizzard. Now, go back to working on giving us a full PVE hero mod. I almost forgot. It got scrapped. And you know, I really just can't call this a review without buying the Invasion bundle so that you do not have to. And they say, chivalry is dead. Which brings me to the story of Overwatch 2, which is basically non-existent if you play PvP. So I'm gonna summarize the important characters for you. Winton. You get to play as Monkey. That is the best part. And of course, all these other characters, including the hub models, Meg Cassidy, robots fluent in 50,000 ways to kick your ass. Please stop putting me to sleep so I can play the game. The anime fox girl waifu of your dreams, Call of Duty.
I need healing.
Call of Duty 2, Heavy Machine Gun,
$300.
Ligma.
Ligma? What you ask?
And the rest of the cast who have multiple ways for you to be blown up, quartered, shot, and dragged down by your solo queue team in ranked. Especially the Hanzo Mains who can't aim for shit. But if you are like me who paid $15 for 2 to 3 hours worth of missions and cutscenes, then yes, there's a story where Ramatra is sending out Null Sector to every country in the world to mind control all the robots in the world with his Apple Vision Pros. So Overwatch is back to save the robots from the robots, after 2 to 3 years in development with a grand total of 3 missions on release. It took you 3 years to make 3 missions? What is this? 1 year per mission? Is the game ever gonna finish? And I'm going to tell you right now, the PvE invasion mode is honestly not worth your time. It's your run-on-the-mill standard boring Overwatch PvE, which is nearly the same as the event missions from Overwatch 1. It's still not as disappointing as Terry Crews not voice acting Doomfist for the memes, but there's just nothing to write home about outside of new story cutscenes, the unique dialogue if you play different characters, and that one boss fight at the very start of the game. And I see now, Blizzard denies the game its purpose. Overwatch has honestly great lore, character trailers on par with Pixar and Disney to the point I even honestly surprised they haven't capitalized on them. But all we got was
GB the Cheapskate!
Because Overwatch 2 was supposed to have a hero mode that would come with the game, which includes upgrade systems, hero progression, which is all gone, reduced to atoms. But I know for a fact the game will live on because of the graces of PvP and free-to-play design either way. If you do play the game though, I hope you're only here for the PvP, which is still a cancerous wasteland of pure adrenaline, sweaty players competing for plays of the game, and mountains of salt. Yet I still find myself crawling back to it like an absolute dumbass anyway. It has a similar power to League of Legends, Valorant, and every single other PvP game out there. You want to win, no matter how much salt you get. And so you are here to play a 5v5 with a bunch of people on the internet just to suffer defeat after defeat, until memories are broken and the truth of Overwatch's greedy practices go unspoken. And I know you've even forgotten your enemies' names. PvP's game modes basically range from capturing points, pushing a payload, and fighting for a robot to push a wall, all with no explanations as to why you're even doing what you're really doing. But that's fine anyway. You're just here to shoot bad guys and flex on your enemies with your fancy cosmetics that you spent $20 on to get. But a lot of people tend to forget that Overwatch 2's PvP scene is a team-based game, and counterpicking is a viable strategy even if you have a shiny skin. And yes, of course, we are all going to blame the healer for this. Counterpicking is outright denied by the devs, despite being a key part of the game, because you don't have all the heroes unlocked from the get-go and have to make do with whatever you have, especially the newer ones that take time to farm for through 35 wins with a specific role. It makes it hard for new players to learn how to counterpick if they don't even have the entire roster in the first place to experiment for about 100 games. So as bad as I feel about saying this, the quality of players has dipped. And you now can't get the wins to get the character that you want without running a pre-made team. And I am going to tell you now, the solo queue is brutal. This game is better played with competent friends on comms. Then again, it's pretty pointless even for those who have the whole roster of characters unlocked, because there is always gonna be that one guy who will insta-lock Hanzo. Seriously though, Hanzo jokes aside, I myself am a tank main who doesn't play DPS because I know I can't aim for fun, which highlights a sad reality that no matter how much Overwatch 2 peddles lies and deceit towards the fans for profit, there's going to be a constant stream of new inexperienced players coming to the game solely because it's free and runs great on a lower end PC. Ticks all the boxes for a great F2P game, of course to the dismay of everyone who hates what the game has become. Which now brings me to the verdict of Overwatch 2, which is a 6 out of 10 at max when you look at the entire PvP and PVE package at this stage. The PvP is the main aspect of the game that I find myself coming back to every now and then, but only when friends drag me along to play the game. Like any other toxic relationship where you get empty promises from the devs, I've mostly cut Overwatch 2 from my usual list of games to play when I'm bored or need a break. Even so, I feel the PvP in Overwatch 2 is still extremely polished like it once was. If you have a squad to play with and not spend money on the game at all, it's really one of the better free-to-play PvP shooters available to simply play on Blizzard's tab. PvE in its current bare-bones 3-mission state is just not worth your time and money compared to any other game unless you can get an entire squad of 4 to play PvE with. My honest advice for PvE is to wait for more missions to show up before purchasing them so that you know the full price of the campaign and not let Blizzard take you for a huge ride when the total cost hits the AAA cost of $60 USD over the course of the next year or two. They're just making it look cheap now because they just want to string you along for the smaller transactions for more missions. And so, while you are waiting around though and really want something similar to Overwatch's campaign style that's far more satisfying, go with the Halo Master Chief Collection instead, which comes with the full campaigns of 6 games to relive the glory days of Halo. It's even more worth it if you've never played Halo in its heyday, and even better, if you can find a few friends to join you for the whole ride. All of which will cost you $40 US outside of a sale on Steam, equivalent to about 6 to 7 Overwatch 2 invasion missions if you assume the next batch of story missions for Overwatch are going to be another $15 for yet another 3 missions. But time will tell how this will play out though, and we'll just have to see what Blizzard really does with their story mode and how much they're going to charge. I'm gonna bet with you, it's gonna hit $60 in 2 years time. And as always, stay safe, stay humble, and keep up the good work, all of the reviewers on Steam, because you are the true heroes. This is the Anime Night, and we will see you next time.